Legend of Dragoon is on the list. We have a lot to do before that, but Legend of Dragoon Plat is on the list, and I will be doing the 100% when I do it. So. Yeah, we did a full Let's Play of Legend of Dragoon, actually. It's on the channel. It was our first, I think it was our first official Friday Let's Play. So it was a while ago. But yeah, we did a full Let's Play of it. And I'll be doing a plat run of it soon on stream. Well, soon TM. Yeah, I'm so glad they fixed it with that patch. I was really afraid they were just going to leave it. Both for Legend of Dragoon, but also just in general. I'm glad that if there's a problem with those PlayStation ports, they're willing to go back and fix them. They're not just dropped on there and forgotten. Because I figured that's what would happen, honestly. I figured they'd just be dropped in and forgotten. Just hard ported, put with trophies, and then left to die. I've not. I downloaded them, but I haven't tried them yet. I don't think this is the quest. I think this is just a random bomb, but he looked fun to fight. Blam. Twisted Metal 1 and 2 were just added to the Classics catalog. More than likely because of the Netflix adaptation coming out, but either way, playing OG Twisted Metal with trophies is pretty hype. It's over. Yeah, Twisted Metal 1 is a bit yikes to go back to, but 2 is still fantastic. I still really enjoy Twisted Metal 2. Twisted Metal 2 is the one I grew up with mostly, so very excited to play that. 1 is still good, but it's got a bit of growing pains. I don't know, maybe when I play the port, it's better than I remember.
He'll be able to see all the way to Stone here.
I did the same exact thing. I had a little notebook with all the codes in it.
Reunited with those he loves at last.
I still remember jumping off the building to find the minion code. That's in 2, right? Or is it in 3? I think it's in 2. On the city level, when you're on the roofs, you have to jump off the roof and die. And when you die, you can see the minion code on the ground. You have to write it down. Who gave us these rewards? The Tombstone did. Okay, so now we need to go to Titan's Wake in Dhalmekia. I think I remember seeing Titan's Wake somewhere. Down here, I think. Yeah. Ugh. Beep 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 doo doo.
Come on. Run like the wind.
I gotta say, the lack of Chocobo theme is sad, but I'm kind of starting to like the little jig that it plays. Plop, 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 plop. Is it here? Spooky. Thanatos. Spirits without.
If it's me you want, I'm right here.
Is that a meme? Is he memeing? Kinda hate charging this, to be honest, but... Can I freeze him? Yes. No comment. I have not changed my equipment, by the way, or leveled up. That was just the absolute perfect combo. I hit a full impact too during that.
Let's try.
Oh, we...
Good. That's better. Thanks, boy.
I thought he was done. Okay, that's a really cool freeze. Oh my god, he's frozen forever! So that was a mark. That happened.
And don't come back.
Okay, where's the last one? The Croc in Sambarek. Where's Crocker? Oh, I agree. It's totally busted. I really am not sure what they were thinking when they came up with it. It should just be a double. It should be a double dash, and it should like it should give you like that small freeze when you get a perfect dodge, instead of getting the small freeze when you double dash close. But it shouldn't freeze them for long enough for you to completely stagger them from 0. It's pretty wild. Or yeah, maybe freeze them until you hit them. That would actually be really great, because then you could set up like an ability. Like one ability. Instead of going through your entire ability cycle by the time they unfreeze. Or maybe just last less long on bosses, you know. But the fact that even against bosses, it freezes them for long enough to get an entire rotation in. It's kind of wild. I mean, like, just think about it. The Titan block, if you get a perfect Titan block, you get your one counter. And that's only if it's an attack that doesn't hit more than once. If it's an attack that hits more than once, and you have to get out of the way after you get your perfect block. But this, if you get the precision dodge, that's it, you win. Doesn't matter if it's a multi-hit, doesn't matter if it's an AoE. You are out of the way, and they're frozen for the next, like, 5 seconds. And you can just do whatever you want. So, like, it's so much better than Titan block. I wish it was balanced equally to Titan block instead of just being, like, in every way better. Is this? Oh. And it freezes everyone, too, which is, like... Look at this. I'm cheating.
It's over. My turn!
Oh god, I'm hitting the goblins that just got here. I was kind of hoping it would go back to the big boy. Oh look, he staggered again. He just got up, man. Give the man a chance.
You're finished.
I'm not sure what you're talking about, Retro. Are you saying that Cold Snap is not busted? Because it is. Like, in terms of your other abilities, it is. It's the exact same difficulty as the perfect block and the precision dodge, but it gives you 10 times more utility. It's not that it's easy to do, it's literally the same exact difficulty as the other abilities, but it's in every way better. That's why it's busted. It's not that you have to be wrong, it's that you are wrong. I'm not picking on you. What you're saying is incorrect. You're taking it too personally. No one's being elitist. It's just the fact of the matter. It's exactly the same difficulty to pull off, but it's way better than the other abilities.
Looks like we're working something up. Only one thing for it.
And you calling my chat elitist is not fair to them when they're literally just saying a fact.
Too slow.
Oh, this is interesting. Oh!
Nice try.
That is true. I think with the upgrade, I think precision dodge is just slightly hard, or slightly easier to pull off. But the block is still just as hard, which is what I was referring to. The block and the Shiva dodge have the same exact window, I believe. Unless I'm crazy, but it seems like it's exactly the same. And even if you have the wrong timing, you get out of the way. So it's like not punishing, whereas block is really punishing if you screw it up. Oh, I already had a level 4. And you get the double dodge if you just spam it. Either way, I don't appreciate being called an elitist just because I'm like talking about the skill and which ones I think are better than others. That doesn't make me elitist.
Nice try.
Let darkness fall!
Can I? Yes. That was a cool fight, but it's kind of a lot easier than the other ones. I only got 2 meteorites. What a waste. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I would change Titan for. I still like the Titan Punch, but I don't necessarily need it. If I were to change an icon, it would definitely be Titan. I'm not exactly sure what I would change it for yet. I could maybe go back to Garuda. The reason I switched out Garuda is just because he's kind of useless on bosses. On little enemies, the grab is fantastic, but on bosses, the grab jump thing, I found some really niche uses for it, but in general, I didn't have much use for it. Honestly, Phoenix would be not bad to grab. Then I could have Shiva be its own thing, and I could just have Phoenix and Rising Flames together. For now, I'll keep it.
Covered in nicks and lumps. The lot of them.
All right. I think we're good to go. I gotta go check out Mr. Blacksmith, though. Yo, Carrie, thank you so much for the 17 months, by the way. Finished 16 a few days ago. Very excited to hear your opinion when the time comes. Awesome. I'm excited to give my opinion. And Seraphic, thank you for the gift of sub to Deadeye as well. Welcome back, Deadeye.
Trouble with your gear, or...
Trouble with the trolley.
So, what'll it be?
That's new. Oh, this is what I got for beating Odin, and it's worse than what I have. Excellent. Well, what's the point? I got 1 dark steel, I need another.
Anything else?
If the hunts were refightable, I could get another one, but I can't. Welcome back, Darth.
I was wondering when next you'd visit. I have compiled some new entries, if you would like to see them. Now this, I believe you will find most interesting.
The few surviving descendants of the children of Dazmekis who fled from Valisthea and took refuge in the Outer Continent, only returning generations later. She and her clan were devout believers in the Circle of Malleus, whose teachings were instilled in her son, teachings and memories that he treasures to this day. Alas, her beliefs were also to prove her downfall, as she was killed in a raid by the followers of a rival religion. The ancient religion from which more recent savior cults grew, its beliefs were originally drawn from murals left behind by the people who lived near the Mother Crystal Dazmekis. While at one point it was a faith followed throughout Valisthea, time and the fading memory of the ancient culture that spawned it saw it gradually fall from favor.
You wish to study the tomes?
You wish to study the tomes?
Did you learn everything you needed?
Mid said I could ride the Enterprise.
I think you know the answer to that question, username. We all know the answer to that question. Should I even check the shop? I haven't checked the shop in a million years.
Clive, if you're gonna buy something, be quick about it.
Wow. 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 Wow.
Come again. Or don't. I'm not much bothered either way.
Yeah, I won't. I think we're good. I think we're ready to go. That did not take long. The question is there going to be another big wave of side quests once we get there or not? Alright. Let me run to the bathroom, grab some more coffee, get all ready because now's the time. We're going. Alright, let's do it. The final trek. Quote unquote. Final trek. I bet you there's a checkpoint like right here that I should have grabbed. Now I have to walk all the way back. Let's mosey. Get out of the way, birds. We got work to do. Also, the biggest size at Starbucks is a total farce. I don't know their stupid sizes, so I always just say, give me the biggest size. They never give me the biggest size.
Good girl.
I think it's like a secret
Fly, Ambrosia.
to get the biggest size. You have to know the vocabulary. If you just say, give me the biggest size, they just give you a tall. Even though that's not the biggest size.
Time to fight. can walk from here.
I like how I still have my Zantenzuken ready, even after fast traveling. Wait. There's a checkpoint right there. How did I not get that checkpoint? I just know my one order. Just say these words in a row and hope they give you the right thing. How did we not get this checkpoint? How did we not? How did we not? I think I went down those stairs, so I didn't get the checkpoint. I figured if you went far enough, it just kind of auto-grabbed it. I wonder if there's any other checkpoints in the game I've missed. I didn't really think it was possible to miss checkpoints. Look at this guy flapping his wings in like 2 FPS. I want to fight the chocobos. Just casually walking towards me. Those bombs. Oh my god. For 15 gil. I'm not fighting you for 15 gil. There's a village over there. There's a conservatory over there. Is that an ogre? Get out of my swamp. The way I do it is I half stagger them, and then I hit them with Dancing Steel during the half stagger, and then I do like 1 or 2 precision dodges to finish the level 5, and then I fully stagger them, and then I use the level 5. Also, I think you missed it earlier, but I got 140k stagger earlier. I had like the perfect impact timing. And it did all the damage. This is obviously for some quest later. I'm seeing a lot of quest areas. I'm a little worried that as soon as I get to this area, they're going to be like, all right, here's 97 side quests to do.
Does it bother you that we haven't heard a single human sound?
Everything about this place bothers me.
I mean, I'd love to do more side quests, but just in terms of finishing today, I'm a little worried.
Enough of you, are there?
What do you think you're doing? That is so good. Laser beam!
It's over.
I love watching Joshua fight stuff. He has so many cool moves. Look at that damage. The slab.
The calm before the storm.
There's only one way into that city. Across the bridge. Through the main gate. Right into the midst of whatever is left of the late King's army. Are you ready for this?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Epic. Here's 97 side quests. Oh, guess not. I'm ready.
What the hell happened here?
I dare not think. A stroke of good fortune, perhaps?
I hope you're right.
So do I.
Epic music.
Claim them all.
Let's see the win on next.
Oh, look at this. Juicy. I love manipulating the enemies in this game. It's funny that we kind of just, right before starting this game, we were speedrunning Chaos Legion, an old PS2 action game, Devil May Cry at home. And a lot of the manipulation of enemies I have to do in that speed run is like very similar to this game, where you're trying to pull enemies together and then hit them with one big move. You don't have to, but when you can pull it off, it feels like really rewarding to do so. I would imagine the speedrun for this game is going to be similar, where you're trying to manipulate enemies to all come together. So that's like that's pretty much what goes into a good Chaos Legion speedrun. It's not, you know, just doing a lot of damage, but enemy manipulation is huge. That's a lot of what I added to the run, was enemy manip, because there wasn't a lot of that in the old speedrun, in the old world record. Is Dad a behemoth?
That's a behemoth.
That's a behemoth.
Have to tame such a beast.
Joshua heard me. And that's a comment.
Stand back.
Get up.
Here it comes.
I tell you what, these tropes never get old, man. Like, a behemoth using Comet is always entertaining. It's like, I want to see the characters of this game deal with it, you know? Just like the characters of old had to deal with it, now we got to see these characters deal with it, and it's just always entertaining. Free real estate. What was that attack? Probably too early, but that looks bad.
No! Stand back! I'll conjure a ward.
Joshua!
I'll cough.
Desperate times.
Clive, no!
Trust me. I'm your shield, remember?
I think this might be a job for Ifrit!
would you turn to him, brother? When we fight together.
It's like, well, dang. That was my biggest move.
That wasn't too bad.
That was just the beginning.
This one.
I can't see anything. Oh, shoot. Those blow up. How did that miss me? That attack looks so goofy. Missed the stagger. Okay. Can I? No. Ouch. Oh, my impact wore out. It looked like it was still there, and then it just disappeared when it came back. Can he not die during meteor, I guess? Well, that doesn't seem good. I don't like extinction. That seems like a bad deal. Don't like an attack called extinction. Let's not extinct. That's cool that he had like a final attack before dying. Just like a King Behemoth would have.
Quickly, before we're cut off for good.
If it is like the others, the entrance to the inner sanctum will be at the foot of the crystal. We're almost there.
I mean, I think the whole isn't a Final Fantasy is very specifically the combat, because everything else has been very Final Fantasy. I mean, the enemies have been on point pretty much the whole game. Chocobos, bomb. I mean, there's a couple things that feel like they're missing, but like, there's more Final Fantasy style enemies in this game than 13 or 12. Like 12 and 13 had very unique enemies that were kind of their own thing. This game is very retro Final Fantasy with its enemies. And its story as well is very retro Final Fantasy. The way it tells the story, not so much, but the story itself. So. It's the mechanics, it's the RPG mechanics and all that, but... So I'm excited to... When I finish the game, like I said, I want to do a review of the game. And I want to talk about these things because it's really interesting when you put it all in perspective. What makes a game a Final Fantasy game. What makes it more or less Final Fantasy. Because I don't think, I mean, crazy people are saying this game is literally not a Final Fantasy game. That's a bit silly, but how Final Fantasy-ish is it? There's a lot of different variables that go into it. It's interesting to talk about. Oh, I can't look at my map here.
How do we get through that?
We go around.
This gate here is open.
Yeah, people that say, like, Final Fantasy hasn't been Final Fantasy since 12 are the same people that don't play the games anymore. Which, again, is fair, but Final Fantasy is Final Fantasy. It's just, you don't like the newer games, you like the older games. That's fair. But no matter how bad you think Final Fantasy 12 is, it's still Final Fantasy. No matter how bad you think Final Fantasy 16 is, it's still Final Fantasy. Maybe it's a bad Final Fantasy, but it's still Final Fantasy. Think they should make a turn-based Final Fantasy spin-off series? They did. It's called Octopath Traveler. I mean, if you're someone that only likes turn-based RPGs and refuses to play anything that doesn't make you wait around to attack, you have a lot to play. You have Octopath Traveler 1 and 2, you have all the pixel remasters, you have Persona, you have all sorts of games to play. Square Enix and not Square Enix. So I don't really know if you have too much room to complain about, I can't believe Final Fantasy isn't turn-based. Like, you have plenty to play. From Square Enix and from other companies. I don't think we're lacking in turn-based RPGs, is what I'm saying. Also, this is 1,000,000 enemies, holy cow. Oh. I would have just gotten so many points in arcade mode. Bravely Default is also still big. Pokemon is still Pokemon.
It's over.
I don't think we're in need of turn-based games. You can also play Ever Crisis, which is almost turn-based. It's over. Turn-based from Wish.com. I have no idea where I'm going. Yeah, I did. It was alright. It is not what it says it is. It is my biggest frustration. They advertised it as a new way to be a remake, and it's not that at all, which is very frustrating. They're tricking old Final Fantasy fans into thinking that it is the turn-based Final Fantasy VII remake that we all wanted back in 2005. And it's not at all that. It's not even close. But as a Final Fantasy VII mobile game, it's pretty fun. So if you go into it thinking that it's going to be the Final Fantasy VII remake we never got, you're going to be disappointed. If you go into it thinking it's going to be a good Final Fantasy VII mobile game, you'll be happy.
Not what I was expecting.
And if you dislike mobile games, for the love of God, stay away. It is a nothing more than a mobile game. It is not. If you don't already like mobile games, you will hate it.
Nice try.
Ow, 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 ow. Help! Help, Tortle. I just got fried. But why do you want a turn-based game with Final Fantasy in the title? We already have 10 of those. Like, Square Enix wants to push Final Fantasy into the future. They don't want to go back in time. If Final Fantasy XVII is a turn-based game, it will sell like poop. No one will play it. The old fans won't care because it's Final Fantasy XVII and they haven't played a game since Final Fantasy XII. And the new fans will be like, what is this garbage? It would be actual economic suicide to make Final Fantasy XVII a turn-based game. They would be fools to do that. Instead, they make the pixel remasters, they make side games turn-based, they make things that make sense to be turn-based. There's literally no one. There's no reason to do that at this point. If they kept Final Fantasy turn-based this entire time, yes, but there's no reason to go back now. And like, I get what you're saying. Make a side series called Final Fantasy Goober Munchers, and it's a turn-based combat system like Persona 5, basically. But at that point, just remake the old games correctly. Instead of doing the pixel remasters, do actual real ports of them that are like the original games. And then... I mean, I don't know. I don't think that is necessary. I don't know. I had to come up with a name. Yeah, like maybe if we do a side series like Final Fantasy Persona and it's just a turn-based RPG, but they already make a bunch of turn-based RPGs. Like, what's the point? The people that, like I said, the people that are begging for a turn-based Final Fantasy are people that haven't played a Final Fantasy since 12. and they're not going to play the new ones. They're going to play the old ones. Like, it's just not going to sell. Like, they know that that's not going to sell. If they make a new IP like Octopath Traveler and it's, you know, like a retro RPG, because retro games are in, people like retro style games. Yeah, I mean, Octopath Traveler was genius, honestly. But if you call Octopath Traveler Final Fantasy Traveler, then I think people just get confused. I think you just make it a new IP. But I get what you're saying. I'm not, like, I don't want to... I don't think you're wrong. I think that it would be cool to see Final Fantasy Traveler, and it's just a retro-style Final Fantasy game. Takes place in the Final Fantasy universe, has a Final Fantasy-style story, but it's not Final Fantasy XVII. It's a retro-style Final Fantasy that's turn-based or ATB-based. But I don't know. I don't know if that would... I don't know. Could be cool. But at this point, I think they're happy just keeping the Final Fantasy train going and just making their turn-based games different IPs. And I don't think they're wrong for doing that. I think it's working well for them. Also, I hate the... I feel like we need to get rid of the phrase turn-based. It's... I think it's lost all meaning at this point. I think that we just always say turn-based because it's like the easiest way to describe it, but we really need to like destroy that term. Final Fantasy hasn't been turn-based since 3. Like, it's not turn-based. It's always been an action RPG in a way. It's always been ATB or just straight action RPG hybrid. It hasn't been a turn-based game since 3 and 10. So, like, people crying for a turn-based game, I don't know if that's what you want. At least not all of them. I would like a true turn-based game. That's what Octopath Traveler is, but I like the turn-based, like 10. I love 10's mechanics. Like, 10's mechanics are my favorite of, like, the whole series. But that's turn-based, not 7, 8, 9... 6, which is what a lot of people, when people say we want a turn-based Final Fantasy, they're thinking 6, 7, 8, and 9, and those aren't turn-based. We gotta either abolish the term or like clear it up. Clear up what people actually want, because I think what people actually want is
once we step onto that bridge,
6, 7, 8, 9.
Targets.
Then we better move quickly.
Like the whole outcry for the remake to be turn-based was hilarious. It needs to be turn-based, but the original wasn't turn-based.
You're finished. It's over.
I don't even have to attack. I just have to stand around and wait for impulse to be done, and then I win.
More of Ultimus tools.
That's a big boy.
Come on then. What are you waiting for?
It just needs to be based. Agreed. Now we're talking. Did you see how long he was frozen? Holy cow. See, now that I can... Oh god. That I can understand, because I don't really know... I'm trying to think of, like... Oh, he's dead. What's a recent ATB game? recent. Like modern graphic, like PS4 and above. Like ATB with turns, not like action RPG hybrid like the remake. Persona 5 is just turn-based. It's not ATB, right? Just because there's a bar that fills up doesn't mean it's ATB. If the bar fills up and then it's your turn and then the entire game freezes, that's still turn-based. Final Fantasy VII can be turn-based if you set it to wait and the second you get your turn, you press a button. But that doesn't really count. That's more like buffering. Like when you set Final Fantasy VII to wait, you can't just sit there. You will die. You have to be inputting actions to pause the game. That's why it's not turn-based, it's ATB. But if there's like a bar that fills up, but then once it fills up, everything stops, then it's still turn-based. It just has a ATB bar. But I'm talking like 7, 8, 9, where if you're sitting there not pressing buttons, the enemy will continue to attack you forever. You know what I mean? Even if you set the game to wait. Is there a game like that? Because that's what Ataru asked. Ataru was like, I want a game that plays like 7, 8, and 9, but has modern graphics. And I'm not really sure. I feel like it's, at this point, it's either full turn-based or full action hybrid. I can't think of a game that kind of works like 7, 8, and 9. I think 7 Remake on the classic setting is like the closest you can get. But yeah, I don't think there really is a game like that. So I could understand Ataru's plight. A modern RPG that has like a true 7 style ATB bar. I don't think that exists. I don't know if it needs to exist, but like, if that's what you want. It could be a cool game to make. I was thinking of, what is it? Child of Light? Is that game ATB? That's like a really random, that's a really small game too, but I feel like that game had a more, maybe not. I don't remember. It was a long time since I played that. And I think I Am Setsuna is also like Chrono Trigger style combat. Oh yeah, Sea of Stars. I forgot about Sea of Stars. Man, Sea of Stars comes out soon. I can't wait. It's been a while since I played the demo, but isn't Sea of Stars like straight up Final Fantasy VII-esque? Well, it's more Chrono Trigger-esque, but it's very close, yeah. I Am Setsuna. You never saw that game? It's a really good game. I put it on my list of Let's Plays because we played a few hours of it. It was really good. It's all semantics, you know. That's why, like, I really want to just kind of abolish the terms and just call them all RPGs or something. Retro RPGs or something, because it's all semantics. And at this point, there's so many versions of how it works that it's hard to call it just turn-based and action RPG. Like, there's just too many different styles and ways that the mechanics work that, you know, that's why the whole outcry for Final Fantasy to be a specific way or the remake to be a specific way is like, just make the game good, man. Just make it however it works for that game, you know. Nobody should be, you know, picketing Sea of Stars because it doesn't play exactly the way they want it to play. Like, make it good. Make it good for what the game needs. It's not about matching some specific, well, I grew up with Final Fantasy IV, so every game has to be like Final Fantasy IV. Like, I grew up with Final Fantasy VII, so every game has to be like Final Fantasy VII. Every game has to have ATB bars. I grew up with Final Fantasy II, so every game has to be turn-based or else I'll hate it. Like, it just needs to fit what the game needs. This game, they wanted it to be an action game, so they made it fit. Sea of Stars, they want it to be like Chrono Trigger, so they're making it fit like Chrono Trigger. There shouldn't be this... Like, the only exception was the remake. The only exception is the remake, because the remake is a remake of Final Fantasy VII, so people had specific desires for what they wanted it to be. They had certain expectations. If you're remaking Final Fantasy VII, we want it to play like Final Fantasy VII. So when they said it was going to be an action RPG, understandably there was a lot of backlash, because people were like, well, it's a remake of 7, it should play like 7. But then, by the end of it, they said, because of the new graphics and the new way we want the game to play, we decided that an action RPG was best, and it worked. It worked really well. Some people hated it, and that's fine, but most people enjoyed it. But that, at least there was a reason for people to have an outcry, because it's a remake of an old game. It's the same way with like Resident Evil Remake. They wanted Resident Evil 4 Remake to play like Resident Evil 4 up to a certain extent. They know that it's a new game and it needs to have new mechanics and stuff, but they want it to at least feel like Resident Evil 4, and that's fair, right? But with a game like Final Fantasy XVII, it's its own thing. Sure, it has Final Fantasy in the name, but it's its own thing, and they're going to make it what they think will be fun for the modern audience. I wish there was another, like, series that's been going on for as long as Final Fantasy, to where we could, like, make this, connection, but I've been trying to think of, like, another game series where the general mechanics changed with the environment of the game industry. But honestly, most series just die before that could happen. The Tales games, yeah, I mean, the new Tales game is like open world, but it still kind of has similar combat than the old Tales games, but it's 3D and it's more actiony than the old Tales games, but it's still similar enough to where I don't think anyone would complain about that. Mario, yeah, there you go, Mario. Imagine if every Mario game was a 2D platformer, because they tried to make Mario 64 and everyone was like, no, it has to be a 2D platformer. You know? Mario would have lasted 5 years and then died, because 2D platformers, for a time, died. They came back, but for a time, they died. So they made it a 3D game, and then when they came back, they made more 2D games, you know? Like, Mario really is a great example, because they made 2D games while they were popular, and then 3D got popular, so they made a 3D game, and then 2D came back in style as a retro style game, so then they started making the new Mario Bros, and they make whatever the industry asks for, but they make it at the highest quality. That's what Square Enix does with Final Fantasy. But, you know, with Final Fantasy, they made so many games in a row that were either turn-based or ATB turn-based. But I mean, 1 through 10, over a decade of making the same exact style game. So it's understandable that when 11 came out and when 12 came out, a lot of people were like, what is this? Like, we've been following this same style for over a decade. Why now change it, you know? So that's understandable. With Mario, it was only a few years. We only had Mario 1, 2, and 3. And really, here, we kind of just had Mario 1 and 3 because 2 was weird. So, and then you had Super Mario World. And then, was that it? No, we had Yoshi's Island. So we had 5 games? 5 2D games? Is that right? Am I missing one? Other than spin-offs like RPG and stuff, but 5 mainline 2D Mario games, and then Mario 64. So, I mean, about half of what Final Fantasy had. They had a lot of spin-off games, but and maybe that's part of why it was easier for Mario to go 3D because they already had spin-off games, so people were used to playing games with Mario in the title that weren't 2D platformers. Final Fantasy didn't have as many spin-offs. They had they had like their Game Boy games and stuff, and like Final Fantasy Tactics. But other than that, if a game had Final Fantasy in the name, it was probably a turn-based or ATB-based RPG, right? So that makes 11 way more of a culture shock of like, what the heck? This has Final Fantasy in the name, but it's not what I expected. Do I go through the door or do I go this way? Let's see what's over here. The ship. Wait. I want to see what's in here. So yeah, I mean, it's easy to look back on it now and be like, of course Final Fantasy isn't just a turn-based series. But at the time, it makes sense.
I don't see any other way.
Wait. What's out here then? Yeah, Mario 2 is pretty interesting. It was a mixture of being too hard for us, and also they expected that we would hate it because it was just Mario 1 again. Which is such a weird concept to me. So they released Mario 2 in Japan, and it's basically just Mario 1 again, and everyone loves it. But for some reason, they thought America would hate it. I wonder why. I wonder what research they did over here. They must have looked at other games that got sequels that were just the same thing again, and they must have sold poorly here or something, and they just thought, that's not going to cut it in America. But I'm genuinely curious as to, like, what they found. Like, what, okay, we're just going backwards, aren't we? Surely this is just backwards. I was talking and I forgot which way we were going, but now I recognize this. Yeah, I wonder what games they looked at and they were like, well, that bombed. Guess we can't do that. Doom 2 is just Doom 1 again, and that sold well. I think Doom is always an outlier, though, because it's Doom. Maybe they just thought we were less invested in video games in general, so it needed to be like a really shiny new product or else we wouldn't buy it. That's probably a fair assumption to make. To be fair, Japan had a lot of weird understandings of the Western video game culture. A lot of what they say now sounds really silly, but that's just what they thought back then. A 100 gil. Wow. I have 442,000. That's like 50 pickups of 2 gil. Let's freaking go. See, like there, it would have been nice to have Phoenix Dash. I can punish enemies when I send them far away. Spooky. Another coral. They really like their corals endgame.
Ultima's corruption knows no bounds. We cannot allow it to spread any further.
We won't.
Ooh. I think he's finished. Every battle is just one stagger now. Let's do too much damage. I don't mind it though. We defeated Odin. We should feel strong, you know. Let the player feel strong. I still think that the Shiva dash is a bit over the top, just because it kind of makes you not even have to worry once you get it once. But I'm okay with Odin doing super mega damage because that's what it should do. We should feel strong, but it shouldn't feel like it's free. Like, I have to work towards that big damage. I have to set up the stagger correctly to get the big damage. It just sounds like he's mad at Titan every time. Titan, how could you? Wait, that was the whole fight? Thought there was gonna be more. Titan! Lunge? What's lunge? The X square attack? This attack? I used to, but I don't use it much anymore. I used to use it a lot more. The problem is a lot of times, it doesn't work very well as a gap closer because it kicks them away.
Focus, Joshua.
So like I can lunge at an enemy, but then a lot of times they get kicked away. Not always though. Oh, this is juicy. Can't resist. Oh, I think I killed everything already. I wanted to bring them all in and then use judgment, but I think they all died from the first attack.
Get him.
Get him.
All yours, Torgal.
Yeah. Doggo attack. Whoa.
Titan!
Ouch.
You're finished.
I keep doing mesmerize to bring everything in so that I can do a big move, but then they all die from mesmerize. I don't know why mesmerize is doing so much damage. These enemies do seem really weak. Like they're the same level as the enemies from the previous area. So I'm like really above their level, even though I've done no... Well, I say I've done no grinding, but I have done all of the hunts and all of the side quests, so that is probably why I'm a bit over-leveled. But I still think these enemies should be a bit higher level, given that the enemies in the previous, like, 2 areas were the same level. Like, they should be closer to 40. I would think. You can always make the story enemies balanced to doing the side quests, because if you don't do the side quests, you'll just get a ton of XP from the enemies and catch up on level pretty fast. I feel like they should have done that. They should have made them like 40, and then if you get here on level 36, you would just go up a couple levels right away after the first few fights. But that way it's not super easy if you did the side quests.
Clive.
Of course there's more. There's always fucking more.
These guys are 39 at least.
Nice try.
Maybe it's just because we're at the beginning of this area. It does seem like a really big area, so maybe they just get stronger as we go. You teleported away, but it doesn't matter. Oh, I played myself. I precision dodged it, and then did the counter, and the counter put me right in the fire of the other guy.
Nice try.
And I did it again. Oh, it's in the corner, I can't. Okay. Oh, he died. That's awkward.
Clive, you mustn't summon Ifrit. Not yet. So I should let the burden fall to you? Yes, you should.
Yes.
Save your strength for the Mother Crystal.
I mean, he's got a point. I hit the wrong button. I wanted that. Nice dance. Look at him go.
What does it mean to grow so big?
You don't want to know. Nice try.
That was cool. He kept focusing that one enemy until the protect went away. I wonder if it does that on purpose. I wonder if there's an enemy with protect, if it like always goes after them first. There's a lot of enemies. Can you not? Thanks. You know what? Protect this. They did not protect that. Didn't we fight this guy like 5 times already? Like this exact guy.
Nice try.
god, that's just so freaking strong. Yeah, Sea of Stars is looking amazing. I actually backed it on Kickstarter, and then we played the demo on stream, and the developer actually stopped by, and we talked to him for a bit. It's and it also has the I forgot the word. The music guy. Composer from Chrono Trigger. The original composer from Chrono Trigger is doing the music. So it is looking really, really crazy good. I'm really excited for it. It comes out in a few weeks, right after my birthday. And yeah, it's the same developer from The Messenger, which I also really, really loved. So the music guy. Yeah, I can't hype up Sea of Stars enough.
The whole bloody army's here.
Well, we knew the whole army would be here.
Stand back, Joshua.
You said this.
I'm summoning Ifrit.
Stop, Clive. You mustn't. We still have a long way to go. If you tap your strength here, you'll have none left to destroy the heart.
Then you'd rather die?
Yes. Epic.
Jill.
And Dion's here. Hey, look, there's an answer to our question. She still got her powers. And I think Dion also has his powers.
She's not alone.
I like how we haven't actually had a moment to, like, say Dion's on our side, but he just kind of is. They're like, well, he's fighting the bad guys, so we'll just say he's on our side. Man, I kind of wanted to fight with him.
Surprised to see us.
Oh god, what happened to the FPS there
Yeah.
for a second?
He told us exactly where you'd be. Even sniffed out a crack in the castle wall. And when we saw the heavens come crashing down, we had no choice but to believe him. It's been quite a day.
To what do we owe this honor?
A debt I would see repaid.
Prince Dion.
Yeah, here we go.
It's good to see you well.
So, this must be Ifrit. Your uncle bade me give you a message. Listen to your heart, and guide your steel true. Your father would expect no less. That is all.
Thank you.
For everything, Your Highness.
Dion, please.
You do realize the only thing we've freed so far is this wall from its foundations, right? Now, if your lord and ladyship's quite finished.
Well said, Gav. We have work to do.
Epic prelude. And Goots is here for some reason. Because we need a shop. Wonder if this is, no turning back moment, because it kind of looks like it.
I don't suppose there's out I can say to make you change your mind. So I'll just tell you to stay safe. Nan won't take kindly to losing her best customer, especially after letting us carry all this stuff all the way to Ash.
And we wouldn't want to anger old Nan.
You mean, you'll buy some off us? I've got some good stuff for yous.
No, you don't. Oh wow, the Defender, that's cool. Such a shame. The legendary Defender sword that's been in so many of the old games, and it's just useless. Also, it's like the best offense is a good defense, but they couldn't have it give you like 10 defense or something, like literally anything. 5 HP, 5 defense, anything. Yeah, it might actually be better if I upgrade it. It might be slightly better than the Ragnarok. Circle of Heaven. Interesting. Lose 2 HP for 4 defense.
You've got everything you need then?
I mean, I should just make these, but I wanted to save the orichalcums.
Is all done then? No.
No. Alright, hold on. Just for kicks and giggles.
Do you need out?
Let's buy this.
Right on, here you go.
Kind of want to see
You
it
all
too.
set then?
Ooh, ah.
What can I do for you?
That's the Gotterdamenrung. We cannot upgrade the Defender. For some reason. LOL. It's the ultimate sword, or what seems like the ultimate sword, but we can't make it yet. Well, that was a waste.
You don't want me to make yours out else?
What about these? Can you upgrade these?
Right on, here you go. Thank you. All done then?
Nope. Wow. That is sad.
You don't want me to make yours out else?
I hear what everyone has to
If Sid were
say.
here today, I reckon he'd be proud of you, Clive.
He'd be proud of us all.
There is still much I would learn of your tale, once this day is done. Until then, all who might come between me and such knowledge shall answer to my spear.
I do not envy them.
I love that all of the characters up to this point, we could talk to Torgal. All of the characters up to this point, we really feel their power level. You know what I mean? They're not just here and Clive's doing all the work. Like, Gav has truly proven himself as the best scout in the land. Dion has truly proven himself as the strongest dragoon in the land. Jill is a dominant and has proven that she's incredibly strong. Joshua, of course, has proven to be incredibly strong. And even Torgal has his superpowers that no one truly understands. So, like, this party feels formidable. It's not just like, oh, we got Donald and Goofy helping us out, but Sora's doing all the work, you know? This feels like a team that could save the world.
I couldn't have made it this far without you, Torgal.
That discussion went exactly as I figured it would. Bork.
Each parting brings the hope of reunion. I missed you, Clive.
I missed you too.
Oh, that was sweet. Did they just say the same
I'll
thing?
be all right, Clive. You may have Shiva's strength, but I still have her spirit.
Don't worry about us. We'll hold off the rabble for as long as you need.
Worry not on our welfare. Your foremost concern should be the heart.
Pork, pork. Alright, so... Did anything appear? Or are we just chilling? Looks like we're just ready to go. I'm trying to decide, should we go now? Should we like have lunch now? Because it seems like we're taking on the fortress proper. Might be a bit of a, well, I should be able to make it work. We get lunch now, so maybe we'll do that. I think we have our best chance of finishing today if we take lunch now and then just head on, apply directly to the forehead. So let's do that. We'll take a break here, and then we will continue.